off the bat, Dale, you know, not a devil's advocate or nothing like that. Have you ever been to prison?
Absolutely.
You have.
I think that I think what's misconstrued is that a person that has not been habilitated cannot be rehabilitated. For instance, when you look at you know, the hood that we come out of, right?
Right.
When we see individuals, you know, get smoked, we see the drug activity, we see the prostitution, we see all that. We're in the hood, that's a way of life for us. But outside of the hood, they call it dysfunctional. We don't understand what dysfunctional is. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So for us, I mean, there's habilitation, but when we leave out of that system, they say, now we need to be rehabilitated. Meaning to have to do again. Do what again? You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, but you know, so we've been programmed so much, man. You know, we got to deprogram. You know.
Now, how long was it? How long of a stint was it that you were in prison?
I've been doing time since I was 16 years old. I'm 50 today.
16. Oh, you look good, bro.
Man, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Look like.
No, not today. I'm 50.
It look like it might be more than one player up on the stage. You know what I mean? Divulge what it was you went to prison for.
I started out 16 years old, pulling small little robberies, and it just progressed.
Did you have a traditional family, a mother and a father at home when you were coming up? 16?
See, the thing about my family, if I can, let me start right here then. My father was a very abusive man, and he beat the hell of us.
Your brothers and sisters?
Brothers, not my sisters, but just me and my brother. And he beat my mom every day of her life. And so as a direct result of that, my mom got up enough courage to leave him. But during that tenure, it left scars on me.
Sure.
You know, and so my mom said that the day that she left my father, I said, well, nobody loves me, so I don't love nobody. And so for 40-something years of my life, that's how I lived.
That you didn't have love for anybody.
Anybody.
And you felt as though people didn't have genuine love for you.
Exactly. Calluses was on my heart, man. Because at that time, even though my father was abusive, he was still my world. But then that was violated. And so because of all the violence that I seen, my mother marrying again, this guy was an alcoholic, beat her every day.
New guy?
The new guy.
Right.
And yeah, you know, and so by the time I got 16 years old,
you had anger and aggression pent up in you.
My heart was callous. So, you know, to say that I had a father or a type of role model in my life, the streets was my role model.
Okay.
You know, those individuals that I hung around, that was my father.
Do you see that same thing in today's time?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. When we look around at our young people, most of our young men, their fathers are incarcerated, on drugs, or they in the home, but they're not in the home. Because you can have a presence there, but not have a presence in your children's life. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so, so when you look at the activity of being involved in a gangster type style or being in a gang, what they're looking for is a father figure. They're looking for some love.
It's been a long time, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, it's been a very long time, almost 20 years.
A little bit over 2 for me.
I understand. The reason I brought you gentlemen here is because your youngest son is in front of me again for the 3rd time.
For what?
Aggravated assault, theft. The reason it's a program that I'm contemplating sending him to.
Okay.
And it started by one of my colleagues, Judge Nancy McDonald. and it's called CBCF.
Okay.
And I believe that he can benefit from it.
Okay.
But the reason I brought you two here is because I need y'all to convince him
Convince him to do what, y'all?
to accept the program.
And what if we can't convince him?
I have no other choice but to send him down for 5 years.
Was there any certain impressions that was placed upon you to make you really want to make a change in your life?
Well, you know, the thing about the streets, man, you know, for me, man, I love the streets. Now, I got to tell you, man, I hold 3 degrees. I have an associate's, a bachelor's, and a master's degree.
Oh! Yeah.
And those didn't come out of the
So that
penitentiary.
means I can associate with the bachelors because I'm a master. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt. And I didn't get those from the penitentiary, you know, I did that. But my problem is that I love the streets. I realized this last little bit that I had, the last bit that I did was 8 years. And then I wind up going back because I didn't really know how to cope in the street.
After the 8 years?
After that 8 years. And, you know, got back into drug activity, got back into, you know, messing around in the streets again, robbing and stealing. And so this final demo, when I went back, you know, and I stood before the judge, I got a grandson. I got 4 daughters and 3 grandchildren. And my reality is this, is that my grandfather did time, my father did time, I got a nephew doing 25 to life, I got a cousin doing 15 to 25, my sister was incarcerated, my brother was incarcerated. And so as I was sitting up in there and I was meditating with myself and my own thoughts, because you can be the baddest man, you know, on the planet when you're out amongst individuals, but you know, my reality was, who was I when I was sitting on my rack in my own thoughts?
You done came a long way.
Absolutely.
To the point where now it seems that you want to give back to the community.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, is that the importance of a man to give back to his community, give back to his family?
I think first and foremost, and let me do this, is that I think first and foremost, you know, I got to give credit where credit is due, and that's to the Creator, you know, for other chances. I'm not talking about second chances, I'm talking about other chances. And, you know, I got to give him his. And then I realized too, and I was alluding to this, so I can answer your question in this way. I was sitting on my rack, and I realized that there was somebody that was missing in my life. And that missing person, I found out, was me. I was missing in action. And so I remember going before that judge, and I stood before the judge, and tears came down my eyes, man. Now, I ain't never got no problem going to do no time. You know, I know how to get out like that. I ain't never got no time, no problem bidding, you know. But I told that judge, I said, you know, you can send me back to the penitentiary. You know what I mean? I don't have no problem with that. I can do that. I said, but Your Honor, you know, what happens when I get out? I'm still faced with the same dilemmas, and I need help. And so she gave me the help that I need.
The judge did.
The judge did, man. And I went through that program, the community-based correctional facility, Nancy McDonald Community-Based Correctional Facility. And it was during that time that I was able to spend some quality time with myself and get myself back on track. Like I said, I was missing in action, and I put a lot of positive people around me. I cut the game out of my life, you know, because we tend to recognize game, the other game that people be running on us, but the real game that we fail to recognize is the one that we run on ourselves. And so when I cut the game, you know, and got real with myself, then I got identity, then I got introduced to my true self. And so because of that, my passion grew, you know, to be able to be inspirational to other young men, because I can identify, you know, with every area of their lives.
Bruh, what's up? Oh, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. What's up? I miss you, bro.
Man, you already know, man. How you been?
Good.
What's up with you, man? I got 3 months left. I'm on my way home.
What's up, son?
I'm waiting on you.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Judge brought us down here, man, talking about you facing 5 years. What's up with
That's what they
that?
talking about, man. I ain't
Okay.
paying no attention to that.
What
I said, how
happened?
you doing,
I
man?
heard you, man. I'm not trying to hear nothing you got to say to me right
I
now.
deserve that one too.
Yeah, man, you gotta
Okay.
talk to Pops, man. Bring us down here.
Pops.
Talk to you.
Hey, listen, let me just cut through the chase. Hey, man, the judge brought me down here and said you facing 5 years.
5 years.
5 years!
What that got to do with
It's
you?
got nothing to do with
It got
me.
nothing to do with you.
You my youngest
I'm
boy.
not your
Calm
son.
down, y'all, man. We family, man. We supposed to be here for each other, man.
Family. Yeah, that's your family. Bro, man, get your pops
it down, man. This ain't the life for you.
Okay, I already got your brother in here with me. What I look like having you in here with me? You my boy. Regardless of the fact whether or not I was there, you still my son.
You're not my father. Street's my father now. I raised myself. I'm not trying to hear nothing you talking about.
None of that matter. You my seed. And regardless of what you think, I'm still your father.
You're not my father!
And so during the time period that I was at the CBCF, man, I asked Mike Randall, who's the director over there, let me put on this little skit. And because I seen a lot of the young people, a lot of the young men that was running around there where they got a lot of loose energy. Majority of them have never been to the penitentiary. And so I would spend time talking to them on another level. I'm just trying to keep it 100 with them. You know what I mean? That's not the life that you want to live, because you look, and you 40 and 50 years old and one day you can't get none of that time back. It's over with.
Right.
And I brought these young men in, man. We just started out with a little skit, man, and they got so inspired. And it inspired me to see them tap into their own potential.
Right.
And so that's the name of my organization. It's called Untapped Potential Productions, because I believe in every individual is the seed of purpose.
So am I hearing this right? So that was sounding like that's like you were sowing the seeds to even your play that you got going on
Absolutely.
right now with Game Over, because the game was over with yourself.
Right.
You started making changes within yourself.
Absolutely.
The game was over.